Hello again. I've remarked before on the curious fact that the RAF aptitude tests, these are the ones for Britain's Royal Air Force, and they tests that require applicants to undertake non-verbal reasoning and manipulate three-dimensional objects in their mind to fit them together by rotating them and flipping them over and so on. These are tests which are typically taken by those that want to be, say, gunners and so on. They're apparently easier for white people than they are for those of African heritage. Chinese people, of course, do better at them than both black people and white. This is really weird because, well, I'll give you the average scores between 2015 and 2020 for different ethnic groups in Britain when taking these tests. Any Chinese background, the average score was 60.1. For white British, it was 55.4. Indians, 50.1. Mixed black Caribbean and white, 51.4. Black Caribbean, 44. And black African, 40.6. What these scores appear to show is that people from Chinese families are very good at this kind of abstract reasoning, and that white people are the next best. The black Africans did worse, but those with more white ancestry did better. The more white ancestry, the better people seem to do. These are all young people who attended British schools, so there can't be any cultural differences here affecting the scores. It's rather odd. It might be mentioned here that the RAF fought tooth and nail to avoid releasing these figures, which I've discussed on a previous video. Is it just chance, though, that the ethnicities of those taking the tests fell in that particular order? Do those scores really mean anything? It's an interesting point. Of course, non-verbal tests of that kind are a big part of IQ tests, and so we see possibly why IQ tests tend to show those of African heritage on average scoring lower than white Europeans or Americans. Just as with IQ tests too, those of Chinese origin come at the top. I was thinking of another example of this effect recently, and that is chess as played at the top levels. The rankings of the top 10 chess players from each country are as follows for the first four countries: Russia, then United States, then China, and then India. In other words, at the very top is a country which is partly European and partly Asian, then America, then China, followed by India. You have to go an awful long way down that list to find an African or Caribbean country. There are currently around 1,500 chess grandmasters in the whole world, and just 3 of them are black people of African heritage. Jews, I need hardly say, are disproportionately represented in high-level chess and always have been. Of the first 13 world champions, more than half were Jews. In modern chess, we think of people like Bobby Fischer, Garry Kasparov, Viktor Korchnoi and Judith Polgar, the woman grand chess master. It's probably not true to say that one needs to be intelligent to be a very good chess player, but it's certainly the case that you need to be able to think and plan ahead and be able to predict movements and think of patterns mentally. I can think of many reasons why black children in Britain and America wouldn't wish to get involved in the chess scene, which is predominantly a middle-class white hobby. But I find it intriguing that even in Africa and the Caribbean, chess is not really a thing that people go in for. There are games in Africa which require a certain amount of strategy. I'm thinking of Mancala, for example, a game where you have a number of pockets in a line with beads in, and you have to take a certain number and move around. Chess, though, simply doesn't seem to be something at which most black people can excel. I'd like to explore the way that international ranking of IQ has been established, because as I said earlier, a lot of this is based upon non-verbal problems which are not culturally biased. I fear, though, that were I to do so, then there's every chance that YouTube would pull the plug on this channel for good.